Hey everyone, we are live at lunchtime. How's everybody's Friday going? Happy Friday, happy Dia de los Muertos. That is Day of the Dead today. Actually, I apologize. That's not even how you're supposed to say it. This is a day to honor those who have passed on. We are preparing to do a celebration in our office for the community and for our clients. If you are here locally, please join us today, Friday night, November 1st, from 5 to 7. We've got tamales, we've got beans, we've got some pan dulce, some chocolate. So please come and join us. And we have at the main part of our event is a children's art exhibit that we have 10 contestants, that some young people who have, they took the theme that we gave them and they have created art to display. And so we're going to be selecting winners from different age categories. So if you are here locally in the Eugene, Springfield, Lane County area, we invite you. Les invitamos hoy. Tenemos una celebración aquí en nuestra oficina para celebrar Día de los Muertos. Tenemos tamales, tenemos frijoles, tenemos refrescos, pan dulce. Y el enfoque del evento es para juntarnos y recordar nuestros descendientes que han pasado, y también celebrar jóvenes. Unos jóvenes han entrado la competencia de arte que programamos aquí en la oficina, y vamos a estar dando regalos, premios para los que ganan. So thank you everyone for coming in to watch the live. We are live at lunchtime, celebrating that it's Friday, celebrating that it's the end of the work week, celebrating that we have only 4 more days left before the elections. Faltan solo 4 días más. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sí, el martes es día de elecciones, entonces estamos celebrando que ya mero nos acercamos, ya mero esperamos, vamos a recibir buenas noticias de un presidente que nos va a dar pólizas que sean pro inmigrantes. We are hopeful for a good result on election day, only 4 days away. So we're celebrating a lot of things today. As you come in, please feel free to put some questions in the comments. I'd love to have some questions to answer. I'm going to talk today about the Parole in Place program. There's been basically no update in the news, so people are starting to ask what is going on. This program that Biden started in June, announced it in June, and it took effect in August 19th, and it ran for a total of 5 days. That was all that we got before some states filed a lawsuit in federal court saying blah, 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 we hate immigrants, and put a pause on the program while that lawsuit is in process. So we have filed some. The USCIS is still accepting them, even though there's a pause and USCIS is not allowed currently to approve them. There were approvals during those 5 days, which is amazing that USCIS had their act together, and we knew that there was probably going to be a lawsuit filed, if not multiple lawsuits. So USCIS was on it. They had this whole online process. And if you know anything about working with the immigration system, nothing is fast. But this, I'm telling you, people actually in less than 5 days, they processed these applications and got them approved. I was shocked and amazed. I thought, no way was that possible. But they showed us that they can. And sure enough, like they told us in April, hey, we're raising the filing fees so that we can give better customer service. And we're starting to see it a little bit. So I'm happy that this wasn't just, more empty promises from them like usual. But in those 5 days, there were applications approved. And we're told now that the applications that are being received, until the court makes their final decision, it will be processed up until the point of actual approval. So they're not allowed to approve, but they are processing them so that they will be ready for approval as soon as the court allows them to, as soon as that case comes to a conclusion or the judge decides that the case can move forward. So we are, there's actually a hearing, I think next week or the following, sometime early November. So this month there will be another hearing. We're expecting that there will be a decision at that time to decide whether the parole in place program will continue to move forward. Our office, we have cases already in process there. So we're hopeful that as soon as those get approved, or as soon as the program moves forward, that we'll get approvals for those. And what our clients will be able to do with that is it's meant to be in place of the waiver, the I-601A provisional waiver that's been taking like 4 or 5 years to process. These clients will be able to skip the waiver and skip leaving the country and file for their green card here in the U.S. It'll be much better, much safer, much faster, much cheaper. So all around a great program if we could just start seeing some, a decision from the court so that we can start seeing some approvals. Estoy hablando sobre el programa de parol para unidad familiar. Siempre me olvido cómo decirlo. Este es el programa que creó y anunció Biden en junio y empezó en agosto. Había 5 días cuando el programa estaba abierto y en esos 5 días aprobaron casos. Esto fue algo muy que me sorprendió mucho porque casi nunca, pues nunca en el tiempo, en los 24 años que tengo con inmigración, nunca he visto casos moverse tan rápidos, pero ellos sabían que iba a ser una demanda y 5 días después de que empezó el programa había una demanda en la Corte Federal, unos estados que están en contra todo de inmigración, que no quieren resolver el problema de inmigración. ¿Qué tan chistoso es que las personas que quejan más no quieren resolver los problemas? Pero es así en todas partes de la vida. Entonces, ahorita el programa está en pausa. Inmigración está recibiendo peticiones y procesando las peticiones y tenemos entendido que al momento de poder aprobar, tienen todos para poder aprobar. Hay una audiencia con la Corte Federal, si no en esta semana, la otra, los principios 2 semanas de noviembre, si no me equivoco, y creemos que va a haber una decisión final. Entonces, esperamos pronto tener buenas noticias para todos. Este programa es para evitar el perdón, que se tarda años, y para evitar tener que salir del país, que es muy peligroso ahorita, y va a ser más rápido, menos costoso, entonces mucho mejor que el proceso que tenemos ahorita. So isn't it interesting that these states that filed the lawsuit against the parole in place program for family unity, that they're the same ones they're the ones that complain about illegal immigration, but they don't want to do anything to solve it. This would solve the problem, but it just goes to show you that it's clear that they're not just against, they're not just wanting people to follow the right processes. They're just not wanting there to be a process at all. This is the kind of stuff that makes me mad. The people that complain the loudest are the ones that push back against any solutions. And I guess that's how it is in life in general, but it just seems very ironic that the solution was presented. And this was the same thing too with earlier this year when there was, earlier in the Biden administration, when there was comprehensive immigration reform that had support from both sides. Right? It was supported through Congress. It was getting ready to be passed. It was basically almost like the final thing was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, Trump picks up the phone and says, no, you can't fix this problem because I need it to still be a problem. I need it to be my major talking point in my campaign. And so they killed the bill. A couple of people polled their support. It had Republican and Democratic support. It was not, an amazing. It was not an amnesty like some people claim. We haven't had an amnesty in over 2 decades, so it was not that. But it would have helped a lot of people. It would have helped dreamers. It would have helped spouses of U.S. citizens. So the people, the populations that we believe that have the most widespread support around the country, it would have helped those individuals. It would have solved problems. It would have provided for more security at the border, which is a major talking point. Everybody wants that. That bill was presented and it was killed by Trump. So again, isn't it ironic? And what do you think about that? How do you feel about people who complain about problems, but when a solution is presented, resist the solution because they just want it? To me, it indicates they just want to keep complaining. I know I do that in my life a lot of times. I'm like, dang it, why does this keep happening? But I have to take a look inward and ask myself, like, why does this continue to happen? And what am I doing to avoid solving this problem? So I would ask that question of you, Mr. Trump. Why to so many things? Why on so many levels? Hopefully in a few more days, I won't have to say his name ever again. I'm sick of talking about Trump. I'm sick of thinking about Trump. I feel like he has invaded even my dreams. So I feel very violated, and I can't wait until Tuesday. Anybody else with me? Anybody else excited for Tuesday? Anybody's ready for this whole thing just to be done and over with, to have a final decision? Put a comment in the chat if you voted. Put a comment in the chat if you're ready. Put a comment in the chat if you have any questions about immigration. Talking today, I was just talking about the parole in place program. We are encouraging people to apply, even though that program is on pause. We should see a decision this month allowing that program to move forward. And that program is going to benefit anyone who's been here since before June 2014. And if you are married to a U.S. citizen before June 2024. So people who have been here a long time, again, also a very popular group of people that there's widespread support. If you've been here a long time, then you should have a way to legal status. But most people don't understand. They think that, and this is funny. I always ask people, don't you think if there was a way for someone to get legal status that they would do it? Like, don't you think that if that was possible, they would have already done it? Do you really just think that people are that lazy, that they're that incompetent, that they're that they just don't care? No, these are people who want to stay here. They are here because they want to be here. They are working, they are paying taxes, they have families, they have children. They are here not to make, not to cause problems like everybody says that immigrants are causing problems. In fact, it is the opposite. Yeah, violent crimes are down overall, but overall violence against immigrants is up. So what is this? Why is this group of people that is that the majority of people in the U.S. would support? Dreamers is another group, right? So the comprehensive immigration reform that we saw get killed by Trump, it would have helped Dreamers. And he went after the DACA. He went after the Dreamers the very first time he took office. Like, that was one of the first things that he did. And I'll never understand that. But to me, that indicated even more that just re-emphasized who he is, what his character is, that he goes after the most vulnerable, that he goes after the ones that have the most widespread support, right? I think when I talk with people about immigration, and I ask, well, what about these kids that were brought here by their parents? Like, should they suffer consequences, be taken back to a country where they were born, but they don't even know? They know more here. They've been to school here. They speak English here. What is this? Trucking Big Bear? Chupo for president? Who is Chupo? Chapo? I have no idea what that means. Can you elaborate? Have you voted? That's all I want to know, is if you voted. I'm encouraging people to vote. Ask your neighbors, have you voted? Are you in a state where you can early vote, or do you actually have to go on election day to vote? That's what I'm curious about. I live in Oregon, so we already voted by mail. But I'm going to visit my parents next week on election day. I hope I don't regret traveling on election day, but they live in Idaho, and apparently they vote in person there still. So that was interesting to me. I do see sometimes on the news, like these long lines at polling centers. I remember doing that, actually. I'm not sure when in Oregon we switched, but I think I was in college when I last voted in person. And I remember going in person and like doing the thing. I'm curious, would you guys prefer in-person voting? I love mail-in ballots, but then like this week there was a bombing at 3 of the vote boxes. So I'd never thought of that as a potential risk, but apparently that's a thing. So I don't know how widespread or if that's happened, but I'm just going to be so curious to know who's responsible for that, who they caught doing that. But tell me, okay. You voted, but you're not happy with the Democratic ticket. Tell me why. I'm curious to know why. I'm excited as a woman. I'm excited to finally see more representation. I remember back in the 80s, who was the woman that ran as a vice president? And so we've had, over the years, like different people run, and then the closest we got was Hillary. And that was, I guess, 2016. And then, so this is exciting for me. It's exciting for me as a mom to a daughter, for her to see what it is. She sees me all the time leading our team and growing a business. So I'm happy that I'm that role model for her. But I would love to see VP Harris in the White House again as president. I think it'll be cool. Her husband seems so cool to have him as the first dude or first husband, whatever they're going to call him, instead of first lady. I think it's going to be really, really good for our country. There's other countries around the world that already have female presidents or female head leaders of the country. I think she's got the experience. I think she's got the personality. I think she's got the character more than anything. She's the strongest. She's the candidate I've been most excited about in my whole life. So I'm curious, Trucking Big Bear, why don't you like the ticket? What is it exactly? Feel free to comment. We're talking about the elections. We're talking about immigration. I've been talking all week about how Trump impacted immigrants and how he will continue to harm immigrants if he's elected. So I can speak to it because I've been practicing immigration law as an attorney since 2010, but I started as a legal assistant in 2000. So I've been working in immigration for almost 2.5 decades now. And so I've seen a lot. I've seen it with Democrat presidents. I've seen it with Republican presidents. And overall, I think that aside from Trump, right? Trump aside, I feel like Trump is an outlier, but I think overall, both parties have approached the issue from different angles. It's a very complex, very difficult problem to solve, but the only way to start to solve the problem is by working together, both sides, and compromising and making a way forward. But it's clear to me that there has to be an easier way, because whenever I talk to my clients or I talk to people who want to immigrate, they are shocked to hear, especially the U.S. citizens, especially these older white cis males that I talk with, that want to like bring a bride from the Philippines. They're shocked. They're shocked at how long it's going to be. They're shocked at how much it's going to cost, not just my fees, but the immigration fees. And so I'm always reminding myself that the general public does not understand how hard it is to immigrate. And those that say, well, they should just go and get in line and do it the right way, don't understand how long that line is. Okay, so you're saying that VP Harris hasn't done anything for the working class and have sent health care down the drain for working man. Interesting. I disagree, but I'd be curious to hear you elaborate more. The economy overall has improved under Biden, and all these things, all of these arguments that she hasn't done anything. She's the vice president. So really, what power does she have? What authority, what kind of, what's the word? persuasiveness has she had? I'm sure that she's been in a lot of meetings, but this whole argument, like, what has she done, and what about the cost of groceries? Like, just because inflation is down doesn't mean that businesses are all of a sudden just going to be like, okay, great, we're going to pass the savings on to the working class. Like, no, that's not how that's not how this works in our country, unfortunately. Like, we're not socialists, which I disagree. I don't think we should be communists or socialists, but this is a capitalist society. So of course, if prices went up, like, the only thing that it's up to the market to drive the prices down, right? As long as people are willing to pay, that is the price that's going to be. So these arguments about, well, she hasn't done anything and we haven't seen anything, like, first of all, she hasn't been in office yet. We have seen what Trump did. And we have seen the way that he acted. The one thing, if I could just point one thing out, the one thing that I saw during the pandemic, I told this to my husband. I was like, I never understood until the pandemic how important leadership is. Just how important leadership is, because as the poop started to hit the fan, I was looking around to, like, what is going on? I've never seen anything like this. What are we supposed to do? Who are we supposed to listen to? And we've got one guy saying, oh, it's like a miracle. By Easter, it's going to be gone. Poof. And minimizing and saying we don't need masks. And, even our local government really not being vocal and helping us to understand what we needed to do. That's when I saw why leadership was important. Okay, shouldn't come down to either party because they should go do for American people. I think you're losing me. I'm not sure. What has she done? Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, what has she done? You have to look at her track record, right? She was a senator. She was a district attorney. Wasn't she like attorney general for California? So all of these things, you can't tell me, and I have heard this as well, which is so offensive to me as a woman. People saying that she slept her way into power. Excuse me, no, that's no. And no. So you can't tell me that the positions that she's had and the people who have seen her do what she's done. Why does California have such high support for her? If not, if she did such a horrible job in California. So, like I said, we haven't seen what she's done because she hasn't been president yet. I hope in 4 more days we can say that she is our next president. I've gotten really off track. Let's bring it back to talking about parole in place. So, like I'm saying, I'm hopeful that this lawsuit that has holding up parole in place will move forward after the elections, and that we'll see from that all of these spouses, parents of U.S. citizens who want to be here, who want to continue to be the providers for their family, will be able to do that. Casi no he hablado en español, entonces voy a empezar de hablar en español. No sé si están entendiendo lo que estamos platicando. Estamos discutiendo sobre quién va a ser mejor y qué ha hecho la vicepresidente Kamala Harris. Y lo que estoy explicando es que muchas personas dicen que ella no ha hecho nada. Pues claro, ella es vicepresidente, ella no tiene el poder como un presidente, pero lo que hemos visto, lo que hemos escuchado, son sus ideas, son sus planes, son sus opiniones, y lo que yo he visto es una carácter que es pro inmigrante. Ella es hija de inmigrantes, entonces yo veo con ella más oportunidad para algún cambio que va a ser mejor para inmigrantes. Lo que lo que por 100% estoy segura que no vamos a ver buenos resultados con otra sesión de presidente Trump. Sandy, gracias por los saludos. Saludos, abogada Sandy Jerónimo. Gusto en saludar. Gracias por dejar el saludo. ¿Se dice saludo? No sé. Invitados, todos están invitados. Hoy estamos haciendo una celebración aquí en la oficina en Springfield, en 4660 Main Street. De 5 a 7 hoy estamos haciendo celebración para el Día de los Muertos, tamales, frijoles, pan dulce. Y lo más importante para niños, tenemos una competencia. Todo el mes de octubre estuvimos anunciando una competencia de artes para los jóvenes. Entonces ya tenemos 10 jóvenes que presentaron sus artes y vamos a estar en las paredes, no sé cómo se dice, enseñando los artes, y tenemos 5 premios. Entonces la mitad de ellos van a recibir un premio. Les animo, por favor, vengan a visitarnos. Estamos aquí de 5 a 7 hoy, el viernes, el 1 de noviembre. Vamos a tener también refrescos y chocolate, pan dulce, tamales, todo. Entonces, antes, si usted vive aquí en el condado de Lane, les invito. Hoy es viernes de 5 a 7 hoy. Okay, everyone's invited. We're doing a celebration tonight for Day of the Dead here at our office, 4660 Main Street in Springfield. So if you're in Lane County, if you're available, if you're local, if you're not drowning somewhere with all of the rain that started today, we invite you 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock tonight. We've got tamales, beans, we've got pan dulce, sweetbread, refreshments, hot chocolate, and the main part of the event was to do an art show for some talented young artists who entered our competition. We have 10 exhibits, 10 young people who entered their art. So we're going to be voting and selecting winners. We've got actually 5 prizes, so half of them get a prize, which I love. But come on out and you can vote on which one's your favorite to determine which ones will be receiving the prize. Any questions on immigration law? Anybody have fun plans for this weekend? I get to go to Phoenix for the weekend, but apparently I'm taking the rain with me. It's going to be rainy and cold there, which is crazy. And then I'm going to Idaho to see my parents for my mom's birthday. And then I fly back here on election day, and I'm hopeful for a smooth day and no violence. I'm actually pretty concerned about that. I don't know if anybody else is concerned about that, but what are your plans for the weekend? Thank you, everyone who has stopped by. Even thank you to Trucking Big Bear for the conversation. I appreciate the engagement. All right, it's pretty quiet today. Well, I think I'm going to end this here, and we are live at lunch until the elections. So join me back. I'm going to work on getting on here over the weekend as well. So join me. If you have any questions about immigration law, feel free to reach out to us. 541-653-8899. You can reach out on all of our socials, and we'd love to hear from you. We do offer a free discovery call. So even if you've talked to somebody before, things are constantly changing, and we'd love to hear maybe how your situation is right now, see if we can find a resolution for you. Nos encantaría hablar con ustedes. Llámanos 541-653-8899. Ofrecemos una consulta gratuita, una llamada para ver, descubrir sus opciones. hasta incluyendo las personas que han platicado antes con nosotros o con otros abogados y no había opciones, es buena idea ya, tener como una revisión por lo menos cada año, cada 2 años para ver qué ha cambiado en su situación o qué ha cambiado en las leyes, para saber. Y muchas veces hemos podido encontrar opciones donde otras personas no sabían o no revisaron bien. Así que llámanos, búscanos en las redes sociales, comparte este video, por favor. Vamos a estar aquí en vivo en las lunches hasta las elecciones. So, nos vemos este fin de semana. Espero que lo pase bien y nos vemos aquí en la próxima. Hasta luego. Thanks again, everybody. We'll be back this weekend live at lunch until the elections. Take care.